Tua Tagovailoa. Oh yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa.
The NBA has most improved player. I think the NFL should have that. And if the NFL had that, Tua would be in line for that, don't you think?
Hey, go on, Tua.
Come on now, Tua.
Well, Tua's just sitting down there with his ukulele in Miami. This is the first time he's been told that he's the starter. And Chris Long's like, well, I know he's going to be able to throw Tyreek Hill the ball down there.
Tua throws it deep, 51 yards to the new weapon, Tyreek Hill.
Over the middle, got his man, and look at him go! Jalen Waddle for the touchdown!
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, welcome back to another Tua Tagovailoa content and the Miami Dolphins. I'm Levis with my good buddy, big European Tagovailoa supporter. Thank you very much, Levis. That was some game last night, and I'm very sorry about Tua Tagovailoa. And I must say I'm happy that he's okay. Yeah. You know, because what it looked like was devastating to everybody who was watching. Of course. And then that's what we will talk about on this matter. I mean, that's what our topic for. As you can see, we have what we'll be talking about. Is about the injury that he has received, that and it looked really bad, but what we heard on TV was different than
that is right.
Obviously there's reasons for it, but we'll explain later.
But we'll explain.
Only happy that they all got on the same plane when they
went
had
back.
the news conference.
Yes, that is right.
And flew back to Miami because the hospital let him out.
That is right.
So we will talk about that.
Yes.
And here is something. I mean, we have in line for you Mike McDaniel. He will talk about it, and we'll show you some of the haters that has been hating on Tua and what their response is.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about and you will be surprised to find out that the people you saw hating on Tua was also sitting there in front of the big TV set last night as commentators for the Thursday night. So that is the thing we're trying to bring to you. The big scandal about Tua Tagovailoa that is going on with the American media, American sports media. Because the American media, and we're talking about the American sports, all media talking heads who has been hating on Tua. And see these people all over here. We are putting all together the haters, the group that's been hating on Tua. And that's for real. And when you look how big it is, that's why it surprised us. So we thought it was 1-2 people. But it turns out there's a whole bunch of them. And we will tie them all together. But before we tie all these names together and how they're hating on Tua and why, we will go now and show you our title of the. So our title basically says, Tua Tagovailoa haters are exposing themselves to dirty play with Miami Dolphins. Oh, you forgot there. That is true. Haters' integrity are exposing themselves to dirty play with Miami Dolphins. That's right. And then we'll tie them all together, and we'll put on what we mean. And we try to make this, we'll keep it short as possible. But we will see. Okay, so we will bring you the conversation that Mike McDaniel had before they left Ohio or Cincinnati. And also, we'll show you some reaction this morning to what we expected they were going to do. And we'll show you the hate on Tua and how it has grown. And why we feel that this is a distraction to a bigger problem. It is a witch hunt, and we think that this witch hunt does not belong in sports entertainment in America. But it is what it is, and we'll show you the truth. And so, so they got word before the press conference that Tua was actually alert, and his extremities were working well. Everything was fine, and that they were letting him out. So to fly back to Ohio, like we said earlier. So here is the question to Mike McDaniel about the situation.
It was a it was a scary moment. He was a evaluated for concussion, and he's in the concussion protocol. He was at the hospital. I believe he's about to get discharged. It was that was an emotional moment. That is not part of the deal that anyone signs up for, even though you know it's a possibility in football to have something that you have to get taken off on a stretcher. All of his teammates, myself, we were all very, very concerned. So the best news that we could get is that everything is checked out, that he didn't have anything more serious than a concussion. He'll be flying back with us here on the plane.
So the next question was asked: how did the coaches and the players react to after seeing the situation that Tua was in? And this is what McDaniel said. It was a nice answer.
Yeah, no. For me, I think a lot of people struggled. I know me personally. That's, if I didn't have a job to do for the organization and the rest of the players, and I didn't have that obligation in my mind, I would have tapped it. It's not something that is comfortable for anybody, and it was not a situation that you want for any of your players or your team in general. It's some scary stuff. I'm just glad that it worked out.
Yeah, so I guess
It worked out.
But the next question was basically about what message did he give during the halftime?
Oh, yeah, that was
after
it,
Tua had left,
yeah.
because like we said, it was Tua went down somewhere like less than 6 minutes left in the second half,
or something like that.
in the second quarter.
That's
so
right.
so when he left, they played unless 5.5 minutes more, and then
that is right.
then it was halftime, and this is the message he gave him in halftime.
The message was that if Tua had his way, that he'd be standing here watching us play, and that we need to put forth an effort for him to because one of our teammates and our brothers has gone down. So that was beyond what everyone else was trying to do. They had expectations to come in and play pretty well, and they didn't. So tried to refocus them as best I could with that message.
So I thought it was interesting when he answered the next few questions about the protocol that they had to go through, and and how to let Tua play again, and who made that decision, and what kind of procedures do they go through? I think that's what the question was. But
I think so.
let's just, and you can really hear the answers, and I like this because all these things that they were saying on TV yesterday, everywhere else in the media,
Even today.
for me, those are people that has no
Baloney.
knowledge to this. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're actually getting better information than listening to the other people who has a different narrative on Tua.
We're giving
and using
evidence.
this situation,
That is
for a different reason, and we can't prove that
Absolutely
yet.
right.
But listen to his answer, and you will understand where we are coming from. And it's nice to have information
That
for
is
the
right.
listener, so they don't have to second guess what's going on. So the question, here is for the procedures of letting Tua play this year. I mean this week, playing last night there. And it's very simple, and he answered it. And when you're listening to him tell answers, you can feel that he's not hiding anything or lying. He's just telling it to you the way it is.
I mean, what goes into every one of those decisions. That it starts with your medical staff, but then there's independent specialists that look into it too. There's a entire protocol, and then you're talking to the player as well. So probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 different layers of a process and decision making, like you do with all players. Him getting cleared by people, yeah, I mean, your standard operating procedure with all players in every single game. Yeah, otherwise we would have reported him having a head injury. I mean, that's why the NFL has these protocols, and there's not, like every single NFL game that is played, there's an independent specialist that specializes in the specialty of brain matter. So, for me, as long as I'm coaching here, if there's I'm not gonna fudge that whole situation. If there's any sort of inclination that someone has a concussion, they go into the concussion protocol, and it's very strict. People don't vary or stray. We don't mess with that. Never have, and as long as I'm the head coach, that will never be an issue that you guys have to worry about. Yeah, no, I that's told to me. It's not I'm making that decision. It's more that the medical professionals that are there with him at the time,
And speaking of
deem him fit to
reported
fit
the
to
news,
leave,
and that's what's going on at the moment.
what goes
it's
into
the
that.
moment that a lot of
I wouldn't pretend
American sports
to know.
fans
I
are wondering,
just,
confused,
I just
and
report the news.
don't understand what's happening, what's going on the field, what's going on the reporting on Tua and everything.
that is right.
And we're telling you, like we've been saying it all this time, is that this hate on Tua is bigger than what we think.
Oh yeah, very big,
And,
very big.
And we're slowly getting closer to who is putting all of this. And it happens to be a group of people.
That is right.
So, but more than that, it's this group of people are kind of like confusing the typical American sports fan.
Yeah.
They're
That's right.
confusing them by blurring the line.
Yeah. Well, you have to explain the blurring the line there to everybody.
Yeah, well, the blurring the line is for me, it's just a line, the fact that a lot of people are confused because they don't know if you are a journalist,
That
or
is
if
right.
you are entertaining,
Yeah,
or if
yeah.
you are, doing commentating, or
That
if
is
you
right.
are, because there are so many different shows out there
Yeah.
that they're all
Format.
coming together.
Different format. Yeah.
You can see him as a newscaster or
That
a
is
journalist writing
Yeah.
articles, or all of a sudden you see him as a commentator. So
That is
you're
right.
confusing them. Or you're an entertainer.
Yeah, that
So
is
people are
right.
confused about the news, the way the news is being delivered to you. Is
Yeah.
it news? Is it entertainment? So it's confusing for everybody. So when you confuse the
Okay.
American sports people,
You're blurring
you have
the-
situation where the journalist gets up and says something like this.
Okay. Blurring the line. I give you this one now.
Yeah. Sorry. You're right, because if you're new at this channel here and you're listening for the first time, I'll explain. This comment was made by a journalist who was writing in one of the newspapers in Miami, and he was also doing these comments on social media and on live with a live microphone, and this is what he said.
I'm sorry, despite what Dolphin fans want to think about why he doesn't throw deep balls, like, they're not calling it because I'm not sure he could throw for 40 yards. And
He just threw to Gesicki 40 yards.
Yes. I'm saying, okay, yeah.
Beautiful touch on that 40-yard pass.
Oh, anything with touch is beautiful. Anything with touch is beautiful.
It's 40 yards touch, bro. That's impressive. Coming out of a scramble.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
So you understand what's confusing is you don't know if he's speaking for the company, for the newspaper, or if he's just doing this personal because, we know him as a journalist, but now he's a talking head, on social media. So it's very confusing for a lot of people. So when you see, when you hear people like Stephen A. Smith talking like this, saying, he is a former journalist, but now he's one of the highest paid, or he is the highest paid commentator from the old media as a talking head. So when he says things like this about misinformation, about Tua, what Tyreek Hill had said about information about Tua and how good Tua is and how well he throws and things. Complimenting Tua and giving him props. And then here he comes and said, said something totally different. So is he coming from a news point, or is he coming from entertainment? Is he coming from professional wrestling? Because that's what it sounded like.
I think so too.
I have no idea.
And but I like the fact that he's trying to prove Tyreek Hill wrong, but now we all know that what he said about Tyreek Hill was false, So here is what he said for those of you who are here for the first time.
This particular Miami Dolphins situation, Tua Tagovailoa is being the captain is no big deal. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has diluted the importance of Tua Tagovailoa being a captain prior to the season. You know why? Because when Tyreek Hill got to Miami, near South Beach, before he had an opportunity to pass gas, this brother was engaging in blasphemy by talking about Tua Tagovailoa was more accurate than Patrick Mahomes.
So you see, it's very confusing, because when you see that the fact is that Tyreek Hill is right, you're wondering, what is he doing? I mean, it sounds like a big, you are right. It sounds like professional wrestling.
No.
That's what it sounds like. So, just that the line is blurred and no one knows what you guys are doing. So it's very difficult to believe what you're saying. How do we believe you guys when you keep telling us lies about Tua or
misinformation?
What do you say?
Misinformation. That is what they tell us about Tua.
It appears to be a make or break year for Tua Tagovailoa, especially once they went out and got him Tyreek Hill. Is he going to make it or not?
We'll see. Listen, the thing about Tua, Max, he's a slow blinker. Do you know what a slow blinker is?
Tell me.
A slow blinker is someone who can't process quickly. He gets back in the pocket too late. He can't go from his first read to the second to the third. If Tua...
So you can see where this guy, he's also with these people over here.
That is right.
From I'm Athlete, they interview people, But anyway, I think it's interesting how this type of words they use on Tua is not correct and it was wrong. It's not true. But anyway, the same words comes out always when we think of those words. Those are the same words they told us back in the 60s and the 70s, where black athletes can't be quarterbacks because they can't be leaders and they don't have the how do you call it? They can't process information.
Same things they're using.
I mean, those were racist comments back then when you look at it. And why are they still using it now? In this world?
Absolutely right.
In 2022. And these are the people that we listen to who are telling us how sports are being played, and their information is being blurred because we don't understand if they're news. Is it news? Is it entertainment? Is it, you know what I mean? It's just so confusing.
Commentating, telling us, trying to tell us what you think of sports, and we used to believe you because we think you were a journalist and you have integrity, but now you don't, So we look at you and we laugh.
We laugh because basically
You know, the funny thing is when we talk about Tua, is like we always ask these sports network or these old media talking heads is why don't you put a Polynesian guy in there? Get a Troy Polamalu in there
That is
or
right.
Jesse
Yeah.
Sarpolu to talk about sports with you guys.
Yeah, that
you
is
know,
right.
because look at
No, at least
you know,
football,
you have
football.
3 quarterbacks here.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
has Polynesian background that,
That
are
is
playing
right.
in the NFL.
Yeah,
You know, but because you don't want to bring in like another minority into your group, you just rather use all the minorities you have now. And so it's kind of weird to watch a black guy, you know, cut down a Polynesian.
That
Because
is
that's
right.
not nice.
That's not
Yeah,
nice at
because
all.
if a white guy was cutting down a black guy, you'd fire the white guy.
That is right.
But it's
Yeah.
okay for a black guy to cut down
Yeah.
this Polynesian guy.
That
Yeah.
is right. That is
So
right.
that's why we'll laugh at you when
Yeah.
you start overacting and being a drama queen,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
wearing
yeah.
your blue suits,
Yeah, that is
putting
right.
up beautiful women up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Next, just to brainwash the American sports fans.
That is
You know,
right.
you put
Yeah.
somebody up there so beautiful next to you,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can start spewing your hate, and you know it's drama. That's
The
old
drama
media.
queen,
That's
yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, that is the
Yeah,
drama
old
queen.
sports media there.
Yeah,
In you know, yeah. And you should. This is social media.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, be social. Yeah, and you and you're because social media and you're spewing hate. You know, hate all the time. Hate, hate, hate. That's all you do. That is unbelievable. So you know. Oh, by the way, when you say that white person say something about the black, they fire. Look here, last
That's
year.
right there.
No,
That's
too
not a
long
lie.
ago.
Yeah.
This white girl said something
Yeah.
about this black
That's
girl,
right.
and then
That's
she
right.
was fired.
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
I mean,
I
that
think
is
so.
how it works,
Oh,
doesn't
wait,
it?
I don't have
So when
picture,
you
but
hear
she was-
Brendan Marshall talking like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
about Tua, yeah, some of the comments that you used back in the 70s
Yeah.
to tell us about why blacks cannot be quarterbacks, it's amazing. Yeah. But here, look, we look at Big Blue Bill.
That is right. That's right.
Yeah, I know. So now, today, this just came out. You know what we told you about, like spewing hate and things like that? What does come out? So again, they put a beautiful woman next in there somewhere, yeah, and then you bring him in, and you know, so to distract you, and then all this hate that he's saying. And we're supposed to believe him? Not really. We laugh at you when you say this stuff. So let's listen. Let's have a good laugh at what you're saying.
Let me take it from here, Molly.
Wow.
Somebody need to be fired.
Oh my God! You know what? I mean, he's not. This is so funny, so dramatic. You know. Such a drama queen, man.
I know, man.
And you know what's interesting is that look,
What,
he's
what,
not wearing
what?
his
that
you
is-
know, how do you call it?
Viagra for the vocal cords.
Where's your Viagra for the
suit,
vocal
blue
cords?
suit.
Your blue pill, the outfit,
Where
the
is
blue
it?
jacket.
Let me put up the.
There, it looks better if we hear the voice he's using, you know,
Yeah,
because then it sounds better. Let's continue.
That's much better.
Okay, so, you know, we told you there's always patterns to his speeches. And like, if you heard the speech when I just played you his first speech,
That
it
is right.
flowed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And if
that
you
is
listen
right.
to it, it just flows, you know?
Yeah.
Even though he's reading, but he's been saying that speech for a long time because he's been cutting down black players for a long time,
Yeah,
you know?
that is right.
So that, you know, we said, a lot of black players say that Stephen A. Smith,
It is true.
you know, the things he say on
this hate
from
debate.
This hate debate
Yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
general managers listen and take money away from their pockets, take money
their
out of their
contracts.
contracts
Yeah.
because of what he says.
That
So
is
when you listen to this speech, you know it's a new speech because he's stumbling. You know, it starts out good.
Yeah, yeah.
The speech starts out great.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be fired.
Yeah, that is right. And you expect it to pick up speed, you know, to get faster and faster, but he's getting slower and slower, and you know, he's reading and it's stumbling on a little bit, so it throws off the spirit of the speech. Then you realize, okay, this is just another baloney kind of.
Now, I don't know who, but somebody got to go. At the very least, a suspension. Now, I don't know if it was the doctors and the trainers that examined him at halftime of the Buffalo game, put him back in. I don't know if it's additional medical personnel that were involved that gave the okay for him to be on the field last night. But listen to what folks have been saying since last night transpired with Tua. They say you had a concussion, and obviously it's easier to get another one. Within a span of 4 to 5 days, I don't care what anybody says. I don't want to hear anything about a back. I didn't see him hold his back. I didn't see him put his arms in his back. Not one time Sunday. I saw him get up. I saw that gross mobile instability. He got up, and he damn near collapsed right back down. I'm looking at Mike McDaniels, the coach. I'm wondering, what the hell are you thinking? Now, some people would say, hey, you're the coach. If the medical staff gives you the okay to play a player, then you go ahead and you play the player. But you're a human being. You got 2 eyes. You know what you saw out there. What about that? I'm looking at the NFLPA. Get your investigation going. Keep pushing. The NFL, do the same thing. Find out what the hell went on. And guess who else I'm holding accountable to some degree? His teammates.
You're such a drama queen, Stephen. The teammates? My God, man. What's up with that? Do you know what you've been doing?
He's been hating.
You've been disrespecting Tyreek Hill
and the
all
team.
month.
Everybody.
And you expect them to listen to you?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, listen to what you said.
Tyreek Hill has diluted the importance of Tua Tagovailoa being a captain prior to the season. You know why? Because when Tyreek Hill got to Miami near South Beach, before he had an opportunity to pass gas, this brother was engaging in blasphemy by talking about Tua Tagovailoa was more accurate than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so it's funny, you know.
It is.
We know that Tua for the last 3 weeks has been killing it on the field.
Absolutely,
literally. Second week he was the AFC Player of the Week.
That is right.
On the third week he was ranked second for highest percentage of yardage and and accuracy. He was the most accurate player, wasn't it? Completion rate.
Yeah, there was a lot of things,
But you're built on hate, so you're trying to discredit what Tua is doing and what Tyreek is doing, what Miami Dolphins are doing, and then because of your hate. And the way to use that now is this protocol. And you're driving hate to the American sports fan.
That is it.
That's what your program does, which is wrong. And I think
hate debate.
What Tua is doing, Tua is bringing down this hate debate of wrong information, misinformation you've been doing for over, now ever since he got in NFL, you've been presenting misinformation about Tua.
That's right.
All of you who are responsible will be named. But you know what, man? We understand why the hate is on Tua. He's brown. He's not white. He's not black, and it's okay. And if we are the only people here that stands up for Tua, then let it be. But I do appreciate some people I saw on Twitter out there standing up for the misinformation that's been going on the Miami Dolphins, and I'm glad. I'll name that on our next content. But as you can see, really, there's a lot of hate out there on Tua and the Miami Dolphins.
That is right.
This situation here, we should listen to professional opinion and not people who just make up, baloney. Really, they've groomed you all to believe every word they're saying, and they're
poor American
and all they're
sports
doing
fan.
is blurring the line if they're journalists or if they're entertainment or if they're what is it? Debate hate group, So it's really strange what you're trying to preach to the American sports fan.
Yeah, when you've been playing games with them.
So it's very funny.
Yeah, it is.
Very, very funny that now you're asking teammates to support, to speak up. For what? For the people you've been lying about. For the people you've been...
Oh, my God.
All this hate on Tua. All this hate on him. And all of a sudden, this accident happens and you're telling the teammate to stand up because Tua could have been hurt.
Oh, man.
You know what, man? Your abuse on this guy is unbelievable.
That is right.
You know, you use your blue suit to spew hate on Tua Tagovailoa. And now that he is lying there, you see the opportunity to tell people
More
that you
hate.
feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Stand up,
Really?
stand up. Tua could
That you
been
have
hurt.
feelings for him, that
That
we are
is
sorry
right.
we've been lying to the American sports fan about Tua. No, man, you're just using this situation for your own gains.
That is
so
right.
stop it.
Stop
Stephen A. Smith and your hate group, man.
Yeah, man. Go ahead and take some more Viagra for the vocal cords and preach. But preach love, not hate.
That's
please.
right. Love, not hate. Love, not hate. You know. So here we go. We're talking about now. We want to go over that hit by Josh on Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, and what we think it was, that hit was really dirty. You know, that is a dirty play.
Yeah.
If you are playing rugby.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is
If
right.
you're playing rugby, you
Yeah.
would have been kicked out.
Absolutely.
Right away, right
Yeah.
there, and then, you know, and I think you will be suspended for like 2 weeks or something. But we'll
Absolutely.
show you what we mean.
That is
But in the
true.
NFL, it is not.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's something that we should learn from the rugby world.
Yeah,
You know,
because
like
they-
if you look
yeah.
at this here, I have this video here, and I think you should really look at that.
Yeah.
And you tell me when you
yeah.
see the hit on Tua if that was the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's, like I said, it's a dirty play in rugby. It's
Yeah.
not a dirty play
Yeah.
in football.
Well, one
But
thing we must.
it should be.
It should be. That is, one thing we've got to remember: rugby players don't wear helmet and pads. So when they make rules like this, faster and to make it safe, we should really look at rugby and say, let's use those rules also in football. Like this rule here says, a spear tackle is a tackle in a rugby in which a player lifts another player into the air and drops them on their back, head or neck.
Yeah.
Automatic red card. The tackler is ordered off the field and may no longer participate in the game. A 2-week suspension from playing rugby will apply. So very interesting. We have to look at the video also and keep in mind that in rugby, a dirty play.
So, I mean, this is what we want to show you before we show you the film, and just something that we should all think about. Instead of us looking for blame and hating and of the witch hunt that's going on Tua Tagovailoa should stop. Instead of the witch hunt, try to make the rules safer for the players. If you're really serious about that, you know. So when we look at that, I mean, I looked at it last night and couldn't believe. Even on TV, no one is talking about it last night. No one mentioned anything about how dirty that play was and how it looked and how can we make those type of plays safe? But because you had a narrative, a negative narrative on Tua Tagovailoa, because you've been on a witch hunt, you will use that and keep following. But instead of looking for something to solve the problem, and let's talk about changing the rules, especially for this one.
Type
Because
of play.
lifting, when you look at how they lifted Tua and slammed, and how Josh slammed him like a rag doll on the ground, I mean, that's to me is spearing, you know? I mean, but that's just my opinion. You know, it's not illegal in the NFL. But that's a dirty play if you ask any rugby player in the world. Okay?
So true. Here it is a little bit.
Player is lifted and the tackle player lands on his back, head or shoulders. His hips are raised above the horizontal. The player is lifted and then dumped on his head. This is an automatic red card, 2-week suspension.
So, as you can see, that's illegal back there. And when you can look at when we see what happened to Tua, it's basically the same thing, you know.
Lifting,
you know, when you see
horizontal.
Josh, when he grabs Tua, and you can actually see his weight. All of Josh's weight is like as he swung around. Swung around he was almost in the air. I mean, I'm talking about Josh was almost in the air. Tupo was almost in the air.
One leg was
and
on
as
the
he
ground.
sat down, he was able to grab Tua.
Using
and
leverage.
just fling him. Like a doll.
That is right.
So all his weight, he's much bigger, and as he goes to sit down, he just totally lifts Tua off the ground.
That is right. Momentum.
So you see the feet going up.
That is
up
right.
in the air.
Yeah.
And that's when we talk about the spearing, is basically you're taking any part of his head, his back, his shoulders,
that is right.
and spear him into the ground. That's illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something the NFL should look into.
Yeah.
You know. And I mean, Josh was doing his job, but that
right.
is a dirty play.
Yeah.
In rugby.
In rugby, that is absolutely right.
And you know, when you see the momentum of his weight, Josh's weight, and how he was able to balance himself to sit down and then completely take control of Tua and then swing him, spear him into the ground.
Into the ground.
You know, that is all. It's almost like a judo move. You know, if you're doing judo, you use the weight of the person and everything to bring him down to the ground like that.
Absolutely.
So,
But legs in the air.
The only thing I see here, look at that.
Yeah.
It's Tua's elbow. Yeah, but that's the thing that stops from serious injuries. More than it should have been, because Tua's shoulder. If you can look at his left arm as he swings him down his left arm, you know, his elbow goes into the ground and supports the weight, but his shoulder, you know, supports the head from not hitting the ground. You know, but that's
the
also
weight is on
and
shoulder.
then you see him. The elbow, and he's still holding the ball. You know, he's still holding the ball.
Amazing.
And I think that tension, he's holding the ball. The ball doesn't come out. That's how strong Tua was holding onto that ball and making sure that it doesn't fall out. You know, even with such incredible impact.
Amazing.
Tua didn't throw the ball or didn't lose the ball. He held it there, and once he hit the ground, it came out. But anyway, we are not going to talk. We're not experts.
We're not
we just wanted to show you something that you can think about, and maybe the NFL can think about a rule change. You know, let's call it the Tua Tagovailoa rule change, so it'll make Stephen A. Smith happy that the NFL is doing something positive out of this unfortunate, you know,
last night
incident.
Yeah, that is true. And anyway, people, sorry we took so long and we couldn't read you any comments, but we'll come back with more contents. But as always, take care and be safe out there. Take it easy, everybody.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa.